This is the JSOWC-1, a long-range precision-guided glide bomb developed by defense contractor Raytheon for the U.S. Navy and Air Force. And this has been the gift from hell that the Trump administration has been delivering to the Houthi rebels in Yemen over the past several weeks. On March 28th, F-18 aircraft from the USS Harry S. Truman conducted deep strikes into Yemen in a coordinated multi-wave attack, all made possible by this new precision superweapon. At 0440 hours local time, the first wave of attacks was launched. A squadron of F-18s flew low and silently across the Red Sea before splitting up and heading toward their first target, Sana'a. 8 targets had been precisely identified in the pre-planned operation, and the aircraft began dividing into 2 formations. The first formation focused on a fortified military headquarters in the city outskirts that the Houthis had rebuilt following strikes 2 weeks prior. Meanwhile, the second wave launched additional JSOWCs at pre-identified weapons caches hidden within residential areas. The third target, Sana'a International Airport, was struck once again to destroy runways that the Houthis had recently attempted to repair. Within just 5 minutes, 3 critical centers in the capital had been reduced to smoking ruins, happening so swiftly that the sun hadn't even begun to rise. Let's examine the JSOWC in detail. This missile weighs 1,065 pounds and measures 161 inches in length, with a 13-foot wingspan that deploys after launch. While similar in size to other variants in the JSOW family, its true distinction lies elsewhere. At its heart is the BROACH warhead, also known as the Bomb Royal Ordnance Augmented Charge, weighing 500 pounds. This specialized warhead is what sets it apart from most long-range air-to-ground missiles previously possessed by the U.S. military, making it a truly formidable weapon in their arsenal. What makes BROACH truly exceptional is its 2-stage penetration system, which operates as follows. Upon impact, a 50-pound conical-shaped charge in the nose detonates. Inside this nose section is a thin metal liner that rapidly collapses inward due to extreme heat and pressure. As this metal liner melts, the missile's energy concentrates all this molten metal into a point as fine as a needle tip. This miniature stream of molten material is 2.5 times more powerful than that found in the classic Blue 109 bunker buster bomb and can penetrate steel, reinforced concrete, and anything else the Houthis might be using for protection. Moving at nearly 10 kilometers per second, this molten stream can pierce through 3 feet of solid steel or 6 feet of reinforced concrete. And when this molten stream breaches that protective layer, that's when the real damage begins. Within just 5 milliseconds, the main 450-pound warhead follows through the narrow hole created by the initial shaped charge. Anyone within a 2-meter radius of the explosion will experience pressures up to 5,000 pounds per square inch, while those within 10 meters will face pressures reaching 800 pounds per square inch. No human being can survive these devastating forces. To put this in perspective, 800 pounds per square inch is equivalent to having a 5-ton Asian elephant concentrate its entire weight onto an area of just 10 square centimeters. In essence, anything struck by this missile faces immediate and complete annihilation, leaving absolutely no chance of survival. The combination of extreme pressure, concentrated force, and high-velocity fragments ensures total destruction of any target, making it one of the most formidable weapons in modern military arsenals. By 0700 hours, all aircraft had been rearmed, refueled, and were prepared for the second wave of attacks, this time targeting the Jabal al-Aswad mountain range in Oman. Hidden beneath 20 feet of solid rock lay a critical communications center believed to house the encrypted broadcasting system used by the Houthis to coordinate their missile launches. For this mission, the strike formations deployed an additional 4 JSOWC missiles against this subterranean target. The resulting attacks generated shockwaves that reverberated throughout the region, instantly disrupting all of the Houthis' battlefield communications. With no time for tactical reorganization, the next wave of attacks commenced immediately. Combining devastating firepower with an impressive range of over 130 kilometers, equivalent to 81 miles, the JSOWC enabled F-18s to launch strikes from beyond the reach of Houthi air defense networks. Thanks to its high-altitude deployment capability, the missile could glide silently for several minutes before striking its target with exceptional precision, maintaining a mere 10-foot margin of error, effectively transforming it into an airborne sniper round from a fighter jet. This remarkable accuracy is achieved through its sophisticated guidance technologies. With its terrain-hugging algorithm and surface-following control system, it can adjust its flight path to avoid obstacles and exploit terrain masking, making it extremely difficult to intercept. However, this GPSINS system has been around for several decades and has been used in conjunction with bunker-buster bombs and all variants of JDAM. Therefore, it's the combination of the following two technologies alongside GPSINS that makes the JSAWC truly unique. The first is the infrared seeker located in the missile's nose. Approximately 30 seconds before impact, JSAWC activates this seeker. The seeker scans the battlefield below and compares it with preloaded reference images of the target to achieve precise targeting. The resolution of this infrared sensor is so accurate that it can distinguish between trucks and tanks, ships, or even camouflaged bunkers based on the thermal signature from operating generators. If the target moves slightly, the seeker can automatically adjust its aim point and guide the missile to the new location, significantly enhancing accuracy. This provides a major advantage over JDAM, which is essentially blind in its terminal phase and relies entirely on GPS coordinates that may be outdated. But that's not all. It has one final ace up its sleeve to ensure neither Iran nor the Houthis can defeat it, a system called Link 16. This is a high-speed digital data link that's encrypted and jam-resistant, allowing operators to update JSAWC's target while the missile is in flight. Through this secure digital connection, airborne controllers can transmit new coordinates, adjust aim points, or even redirect the missile to an entirely different target. This capability proves particularly valuable when high-priority targets are identified or rapid engagement is needed after launch. Link 16's operational range extends to approximately 300 nautical miles depending on altitude, with messages transmitted within 1.5 seconds of initiation. In combat scenarios, this means a commander aboard the Truman can redirect a flying JSAWC from its original target, such as a bunker, to engage a mobile command post attempting to flee the danger zone without requiring the pilot to return for another attack run. However, the F-18 pilots aren't planning to give the Houthis a second chance anyway. The next 7 waves of attacks focused on a single objective: to destroy the region's entire electrical infrastructure and paralyze all surrounding Houthi military installations. F-18 fighters launched JSAWC missiles from extreme distances to avoid threats from Houthis' mobile air defense systems. The strikes successfully demolished power stations and severed electrical supply to Houthi radar and air defense positions. This was no longer merely a show of force. It was a clear declaration that the United States would continue launching strikes against the Houthis until they agreed to a ceasefire. After rearming on the aircraft carrier, the squadron set sail again that evening toward Marib province. There, 4 Super Hornets flew at low altitude and successfully eliminated 4 additional Houthi bases. On their return journey, this formation of fighter aircraft proceeded to bombard the Houthi naval base at Al Hudaydah, destroying 3 boat docks and shelters along with at least 10 enemy vessels. However, this time when returning to the carrier, the Truman Squadron would carry more ammunition for their next mission. While the US military is capable of impressive operations, it's simply impossible to strike 7 different targets with just 1 fuel load. Each F-18 carries approximately 10,860 pounds of internal fuel, distributed across multiple tanks in the fuselage and wings. For extended-range missions like these, they can be equipped with 3 additional external fuel tanks, 1 under each wing and 1 beneath the fuselage centerline. This configuration adds roughly 8,000 pounds to the total fuel capacity. However, even this substantial amount of fuel isn't sufficient to reach all targets and return with a safe margin. This is where a device called the Buddy Pod comes into play. If you observe carefully, some F-18s in this mission aren't carrying bombs. Instead, they're equipped with extra fuel tanks. Once successfully connected, fuel begins transferring at a rate of 1,500 pounds per minute. During this process, which typically lasts between 2 to 5 minutes, the buddy pod draws up to 8,000 pounds of fuel from the tanker aircraft's external tanks. This entire operation occurs within a 75-foot space between the two aircraft, while maintaining a speed of 463 kilometers per hour. This system effectively extends the F-18's combat radius from approximately 450 nautical miles to over 700 nautical miles, depending on the payload configuration and flight parameters. This capability allows them to conduct deeper strikes, maintain longer flight times, and return safely without relying on Air Force KC-130 tankers, particularly since aircraft carriers cannot accommodate larger refueling aircraft. However, this system has its drawbacks. The F-18 used as a tanker experiences increased drag, reduced speed, and limitations on the weapon's payload it can carry. Additionally, any errors during the connection process could result in a broken refueling probe or complete destruction of the refueling basket. While this represents a calculated risk, the Navy accepts it to ensure mission continuity. By nightfall, the formation approached the Saudi border in Sakaka province. Two F-18s carrying paveway bombs swooped in and released their payloads on designated ammunition depots, while the remaining 6 aircraft split off to strike their primary target, the city of Hazm. There, 12 successive strikes shook Hazm to its core. The operation resulted in the complete destruction of 3 Houthi military bases, 2 ammunition storage facilities, and a hardened bunker complex. None of these achievements would have been possible without the buddy pod refueling system. This innovative technology has enabled F-18s to extend their operational range significantly, maintain sustained attacks on multiple targets over extended periods, and most crucially, retain sufficient fuel reserves to safely return to their carrier. It's time to conclude today's discussion. We hope this content has provided you with valuable and engaging insights into military aviation technology.